Power Up Clubs exist to put the gospel on display in front yards all across Tallahassee. Sometimes they're the hardest thing to communicate what exactly they are and the easiest thing to implement. In a lot of ways, Power Up Clubs is just inviting children to play and inviting our youth to extend the gospel to children in neighborhood communities. Something unique about Power Up Clubs is they're accomplishing multiple goals at the same time. The youth group of our church is being discipled and coached through a pretty intensive leadership training where they will learn to articulate the gospel. And we often see students begin to own their faith for the first time through their experience during Power Up Club week.
I think they had a lot of fun engaging with the Power Up Clubs. We would come rolling in with music blaring and we'd have frisbees and balls and all these really fun things, and just got to really just engage with them in a really fun but also intentional way. I think they got to see that God is cool, and hanging out with God's people it's cool too, and that community is a really beautiful thing. And even though it is Christ-centered and that's a very serious thing, we can enjoy this fellowship and community that God has given us and commanded of us.
Simultaneously, the children from our church are discipled and cared for by the youth of our church by participating in the Power Up Clubs. But then thirdly, Power Up Clubs are overtly evangelistic, where they are in neighbors' front yards. Children from the neighborhood are walking to the club, and people we have a relationship with who maybe won't come to our church yet are encouraged to participate in the fun activities happening on their block. This can often be an inroad to furthering relationships and bridging that gap into spiritual conversations.
We had both two different church congregations come together with one purpose and passion to glorify God through having teens learn new skills to share the gospel. So they not only got to learn how to share the gospel for the first time, but they got to learn how to interact with other believers who they might not have met for the first time, and work together with them towards the same purpose and goal to farther the Great Commission.
It takes an entire church for the mission of Power Up Clubs to go forward. There's a lot of ways you can be involved leading up to Power Up Club week and then during Power Up Club week. Firstly, we need adult leaders who are willing to go through this week with our youth group and really disciple them and coach them in the leadership we will be calling these students to. We need a myriad of people from all across Tallahassee to offer their home. These people might have relationships already on their street. They might just have a good front yard and want to offer it and see what God can do. Another way you can be involved is through prayer. We want to cover the children of our church and the youth of our church and those in our community with prayer leading up to and specifically during Power Up Club week. Every evening we come back to the church, we have a time of worship, and we get to hear our students testify to how they saw God work that day. So we ask that as a church you consider championing behind our youth group through prayer, through popping in and just watching our youth group in action, whether you have children participating or not. We ask that you would come to a worship night and hear what God is doing during the week. And then lastly, there are tangible needs. There are needs for materials. There are needs for help in a behind the scenes way. There are needs for food as we desire to serve our students and provide every meal for them during that week. If you're interested in serving in any of these ways, we would welcome your help.